The crypto economy, a layman's view, and that's my view. Let me ask you a question. If you can buy a dozen eggs for $1, are a dozen eggs worth $1, or is $1 worth a dozen eggs? I'll come back to that in a while, but first let me say that this is not designed to be an explanation of what cryptocurrencies are or how the blockchain works. There are plenty of videos about that by people who understand it much better than me. I first encountered crypto long ago when I was searching for a payment processor, and I came across Ripple. I briefly read about it, but I couldn't get my head around it, and I didn't know where to buy it or sell it, or even if that was possible, so I ignored it. My next encounter was when someone advised me to mine and buy BitCoins, which at the time were about $15 each. Once again I briefly read about them, but I couldn't get my head around it. I didn't know where to buy them or sell them, or even if that was possible, so I ignored it. My third encounter was when I was promoting an offer, and to my horror they paid me my commissions, it was about $500, in BitCoins. Not even a full coin, but about 0.71 BitCoins. BitCoins had grown by then to about 700 each, but what was I supposed to do with it? I searched and I found a wallet called Coinbase. I downloaded my BitCoins and to my relief was able to sell them and transfer real cash to my bank account. But then relief turned to curiosity. What if I'd taken the advice and bought BitCoins at $15 each? Just $100 would have become over $4,500. Now, I don't know much about how the blockchain works, but I don't know how my TV picks up signals and lets me watch a cricket match in real time either. I know how to switch on, change the channel, adjust the volume, and that's all I need. Crypto now has thousands of coins and tokens. The difference between the two doesn't matter to most of us. All that matters is what's behind them. Are they backed by a real need or a genuine business? Or are they a pump and dump scam? Pump and dump means somebody invents a coin, they artificially inflate the price somehow, I don't really understand how, and then they sell all theirs, which is called the dumping, and that causes the price to crash down and all the people that bought them lose money. That can only be labelled as a scam. Unfortunately, most are just a way for someone to get rich at the expense of others, but there are also many that have real value. But what is real value? Let's go back to the question I posed at the start. If you can buy a dozen eggs for $1, are a dozen eggs worth $1, or is $1 worth a dozen eggs? You see, fiat currencies, and that's what they call currencies like the dollar or the pound or the euro or the yen, etc., no longer have any real value. Their value is only in the trust people place in them based on the government behind them, and that trust is often abused. In fact, it's almost always abused. If a government needs more money to fund projects or even wars, it simply prints more notes. That has the effect of causing inflation, which reduces the value of the currency held by the people. This is, in effect, a hidden tax on those who try to save. It doesn't affect the wealthy, as they don't hang on to cash, but they invest it in tangible items. It doesn't affect the poor, because they just can't afford to save. It taxes those who are trying to better themselves by doing what they've been taught. Save for a rainy day. So, you see that the value of fiat currencies is always decreasing due to government greed, or at best, mismanagement. So what do you think? If you can buy a dozen eggs for $1, are a dozen eggs worth $1, or is $1 worth a dozen eggs? A dozen eggs is always worth a dozen eggs. I chose eggs because they're a staple. In times of crisis, we need staples. Food, water, shelter, clothing. These always have value. Unlike, for example, works of art. If you owned a painting for which you paid $1 million, and there was a crisis where food was scarce, so scarce that people were starving, no one would trade you their eggs for your painting. So what's that got to do with crypto? Well, once a cryptocurrency has been created, it has a cap, meaning that no more can be added to cause inflation. For example, BitCoins is set at a maximum of, I think it's 21 million coins. And that's it. Once all the coins are in circulation, supply can't be increased, and so any increase in demand increases the value. It's the total opposite of what people think of as real money, where value is bound to decrease. If you just think back a few years to what the cash in your pocket would have bought then to compare to what it will buy now, you see the truth in this. As a layman, I believe that crypto is here to stay because it will increase in value if it's a genuine currency backed by a business or widespread acceptance. It's not subject to very high third-party fees for transfer like the bank's charges for sending money. It's very fast to transfer. It can be a matter of seconds to transfer cash anywhere in the world. And it can't be tampered with by the authorities because it's a completely structured system that is there and can be used by anyone. And it's extremely secure to transact. It can't be hacked into. Which cryptos you choose to trust is really all that matters. And you've got to be very selective because there are many scams out there. Just as an example though, looking at cryptos and fiat currencies, the post-World War II hyperinflation of Hungary held the record for the most extreme monthly inflation rate ever. It's there. I'm not going to try and pronounce that huge number percentage, but it basically amounted to prices doubling every 15.3 hours. Now, would you want to hold coins in a banana republic? Countries with the highest inflation rates in the world in 2019 are Venezuela, with 282,972.8% inflation. Zimbabwe 175%, South Sudan 56%, North Korea 55%. And this applies in some measure to wherever you are living, whether it's the United States or Europe or Asia somewhere. Your currency is subject to inflation, and that's that hidden tax. So would you prefer to hold coins in a banana republic or prefer to hold a strong base crypto and avoid the hidden taxes forced upon unsuspecting people of all nations by government manipulation of the fiat currencies? Cryptos can be highly volatile in the short term, but they tend to go up in value over the mid to long term. So what do you think? God bless.